That was noisy about it. Down. That's fine. That's a bit. Oh, right. I have the radio on. Okay. So I'm just going to wait for somebody to tune in. It's about 9:30. It's kind of late in the evening, but I want to talk about... There's not a whole lot to say about the weekend plans. It hasn't happened yet either, but excuse me. But otherwise, I don't think I've ever prepped in a podcast or at least heard it back. But that one, I just might. Good boy, son. I'm glad you tired yourself out. Tired us out, too. Just kidding. There's Sonny. Good boy. Hey, look at he's looking in his ears and moves like, oh, am I on camera? Well, let me do something. Just kidding. He's so cute, actually. That would have been fine to record. Sometimes he's noisy when we're chapstick, but I know what it looks like, but sometimes he's noisy when we're eating on the phone. I don't know what it is, our dog, and so I shouldn't, but just, he does have some toys, but he drops them at the side of the couch, which is hard to get to. Those of you who are there for a moment there. He chews them into pieces, or they're dyed, or he, what I'm talking about, Jason, or he, what's the other thing he does? I feel like there's one other reason that sometimes we end up having to take them from him, sometimes not long after I've given something to him. However, so the towels of water, although that can be a bit rough, and sometimes this, I like to kind of just get into like, because, it keeps him occupied. I do want to address clutter later. So he might be noisy. And the thing is that sometimes he's great and everything, but sometimes he's annoying when we really don't have the patience for it, so I end up giving him something to chew on. And other times, like a chew stick or whatever, and other times he's really good. It's like, okay, do we give him something, when that's the case? You can hear he's making some noises. Go lay down, Sonny. Got the radio on still a little bit. Hopefully not too loud that YouTube will have a problem with it, but he likes the noise, especially when I'm not making any, so. Guess you had to set it down enough. Okay. You've had your food, you've had it walk. I think you still have water. But yeah. I don't often do these up. I don't often do them downstairs when he's down here, and he usually lays in his crate this way, but ends up doing, I don't know. You want to go upstairs? But, you're going to be in it all night, so. You want to go outside? You've had your walk and everything. You want to go outside? There's something out here? Still quite. I was trying to give you a small one since they make them inconsistent sizes and some are quite small. That's going to mark up the floor. I don't know how long I'm going to go for, but. The thing is about giving him a small one is he finishes the other one sometimes quite quick. What was that noise? It sounded like the phone, but no one here. Ugh! The cordless one sometimes beeps. I wouldn't mind doing some organizing this weekend, but it's something I struggle with. I have made some progress kind of sifting through some of it, but it's something that I struggle with, so I don't know. And then we have 2 or 3 errands and a customer and 1 or 2 video calls, so everyone else I have some relaxation. And of course some things aren't open, but the grocery store and the dollar should be over the Easter. People are buying stuff for Easter. It's just those kind of stores, right? So but yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how it all unfolds, and you could potentially be pretty busy. I guess we only have one thing set in stone. Some of the errands we could do tomorrow because one of the places isn't open Sunday, and then the 3 of them we might do the same day because they're all near each other. We get his nails trimmed, but he they seem to avoid trimming and shaving around his paws, and it's growing into pads. It's really long on the top. It's no longer really winter, although it's a slow start to spring. But so, but yeah, so they're all in the same place. So, and we're kind of waiting to hear back from Milena. So I mean, we could text her. That might be quicker. I think she's in Messenger a little bit more because we were Messenger, and who knows who else. But I don't know, it's an idea. But that's kind of annoying me a little bit. So, and oh, but yeah, um, she knows she should try and pose the idea again. Although she didn't have a lot of energy because of her illnesses and that, she knows that that Kathleen liked it. So I don't know. And I did tell you that one. So, so I was planning that. I guess we could just see if it happened without much effort. And by the way, that doesn't feel like much when I do it, but I was watching myself back the other day, and then I end up forgetting, possibly doing it again sometimes, but and it was more noticeable than I thought. So, well, I guess it's not, unless it's just in the bedroom. That's gonna own it. Um, when I look like I rested but not napped, even though I tried to, um, because yeah, that one was really active. Like a dream almost, eh? Which I can analyze if you want. Not nightmares, but dreams. But that was really active, and I thought, is it something to do with doing it on the phone? I couldn't think why, but no, it didn't seem to be. But I'm also always curious how long before the connection drops, because this phone is bad with that. But there's been a couple of times I've been able to go for like 15, 18 minutes before it does anything. Doesn't that look cool in my hand with the light? Come to the light. Anyway. Hi, Rue, how are you? Do you understand? Do you get that joke? I don't know if you do. If you do, nobody's watching, so they can't guess. One thing I might want to do, I have the idea to maybe do this, and it could be cool. I don't know if I can do it after, or if I can do it now that I'm already rolling. It's still loading very, very slow. You know, I know, these days, well, a lot of people are like, people are used to instant, but, I mean, devices usually are pretty quick, but so when they're not, it's like, well, that's unusual. And you get you don't like it, right? So, I could call her, but, she's already got 3 or 4 points of contact for us. I don't think she needs our phone number. We need for us to, sometimes we have to mute, but sometimes we don't. And like, oh, I got this really good idea. I don't want to hold it in. I'm struggling to be organized these days. I just really want to let them know, so I'll call them at 3 a.m. or whatever. Yeah, no, I'm sleeping. So, um, it's actually taking his time with that thing. I'm kind of surprised. I just want to take your time. I don't want to steal your freedom. I just want to fall in line. I'm really surprised by the free press, I guess it's called here, which is one of the top ones. It's like almost end of April, and the very top bits on the first page. In fact, they're all March. You try to tell me nobody's passed away in April? Like, for 3 days, 3 or 4 days, I was in death care and said nobody had, and then suddenly there was a whole bunch. I don't know if I should share this, but I don't know, sometimes I get bored, and I read this too. Sometimes I get bored and, curious, if you know anybody, and, It's sad, of course, but with my ability, it's also, brings us closer a little bit too. Well, it only says active an hour ago, but that's not super long ago. And he's seen that and hasn't said anything, so I'm going to start ignoring him. And if you comment something, it's fine. She should be seeing my message soon because we told her on the post. But yeah, anyway, so sometimes it feels closer. I mean, it's not all the time, but it's with the ability, it can kind of help in that. It might just change when I did that. Oh, right, it's not to a poster. But then I have a feeling when I click in, yes, they both have a blue circle around them. It changes to the other one. I don't know. So yeah, it doesn't have as many people as it often does. I mean, it's online, but yeah, that's kind of giving me mixed feelings. It started off quite good. Now I don't know what to think, and they're not even that close, so I don't know. He's had a nice video call and a nice phone call with the sister, so and we know that we made the best choice, and I feel like in some ways she probably would agree with our choice. So anyway, but interestingly, I came across this obituary, and it's just very interesting how it's written, and last name is Trishman, which I think is probably pretty unique, Trishman. So if you don't know something about that last name, then you don't know this person. But anyway, they say there are two important dates in life. I said this to Glenn, but I'm reading it again out loud. The day you're born, and the other one is when you find out why. Although I would add to that there can be many reasons. So that was a good and kosher? Right on. Beck and I were born with our purpose to be together. There were so many things that we did together. We planned our dreams. We played home and family together. We had blended family. Actually, there's Corey there too. Okay, I hope that's not the one I know. Um, far under that, there's a friend. Huh. I was watching a game show and it said it was the four marketeers. Maybe they're marketers. I heard of the Three Musketeers, but there was nobody named Mark in it. But there's this one guy that this is a shared channel, and welcome to the person that just tuned in. There's this one guy that Glenn knows, whose name is Mark, and he goes to a lot of concerts. In fact, somebody finally told him that he goes to more concerts than anybody should ever heard, but no one or something like that. But some good ones, but I think it's out. I got an impression once before, and he made some sort of comment. I couldn't tell if it was sarcastic or not. Where he has a daughter, I think that he really doesn't support, and I mean this is kind of specific, but maybe not super specific. So, if he sees this or someone he knows thinks he sees this, I don't know. I mean, maybe he needs to hear this, but at the same time, maybe it's not him. but basically, I'm just putting a colder water in with the warmer water. But it sounded like he really didn't support her. I don't know if it's because she's now an adult. That doesn't need. I should put some of these actually up on top of the fridge support. I don't want to get up because the dog will get up. I was watching a video about dogs today, and actually there was one that's like, it apparently really bad separation anxiety. I didn't see it, and anytime the person got up. Have any of you ever seen the show Lucky Dog? I've only seen a few episodes. Anytime the person got up, the dog would follow. Shouldn't leave that around. But yeah, anyway, basically, and now I can't remember what I was saying. But anyway, before that, before I got distracted. But nobody's here to keep me on track at the moment. Well, I've only been rolling for what, 14 minutes, eh? And the dog's being good after finishing his thing, so that's good. Gee, that's interesting. Ingrid, yeah, I have a thing with Ingrid. I have a thing with Ingrid going on right now. Welcome, viewer. So, I was talking about something. I kind of briefly got distracted and you left, so there. But one of the reasons I did this video is because I kind of already said mine. Wanted to gather some plans and then maybe hear about your plans for the weekend. if it's the weekend when you're seeing this, and if not, well, what about the weekend still coming up? There's always a weekend coming up, right? I have a cup that says, I think it's the days of the week all crossed out. No, how I forget how it does it actually, but it's essentially saying the weekend goes fast. But this is a 4-day weekend, so. Okay, says, I should mention the big heart Jackie had. When we were notified by our Auntie Donna's doctor in Vancouver that the deteriorating health, could no longer live on her own. We then had Jackie and our eldest daughter Lisa go down and pack up their apartment and bring her home to live with us. Jackie, with the help of home care and myself, took care of her for 6.5 years. We worked on our dreams together and we manifested them to reality. I just went buddy. We reached for the stars and visited the moon together. Big, colorful, beautiful, bright as life should be. Boy. Her parents, I don't know her parents' marriage is mentioned in her obituary. As we have a viewer, welcome. It says, where marriage was arranged in heaven and performed in England during the Second World War. Jackie always said, could have been anything in life as she was very bright. Or I always said, could have been. Um, she could have been a doctor, lawyer, or Indian chief. She chose to be a TA, which was an ideal calling. She exceeded at it at several schools, and the last one, well, I never heard of it in BC, ironically. Um, she had parties with staff from there at her place, where she entertained all with her hula outfit. She always was always the life of the party. 33 years together, you might say a lifetime. I missed that the first time I read it. Welcome, viewer. Yes, feel free to give me ideas for the weekend, including podcast ideas, and you left, so whatever you like. I don't do weekends. No kidding. Next question from Catherine. Oh, somebody came back, somebody else is here. Yeah, either ideas for the weekend, what your plans are, just for conversational purposes, and also including that podcast ideas, because we might be able to squeeze one or two in on the long weekend. You're like, screw all that shit, and they laughed. Right before I said that. I would have said it otherwise. I don't know. Anyway. I will not be reading you I will not be reading you the bits every day anymore. Why not? I'm just kidding. We celebrate your laugh in about 2.5 months, when the pain of losing you will be a little softer. Rest in peace. I just thought it was really interestingly worded. There's another interesting one I came across, and I said the reasons why I look. Nothing weird. That I think it was this one actually. She has a very interesting look. Very big wrinkled nose, very deep set eyes, kind of goes under her teeth. That's pretty specific, I know. This is also kind of interestingly worded, though. She was not always the happy person she is known to be later in life. She had many sorrows and trials. When she married her husband, her life did become sweeter. She experienced many firsts during this time, such as her first limousine ride, her first airplane ride, and her first, not exactly sure what this means, call while in a plane, I'm guessing? Air-to-ground telephone call. I'm not saying the name, so. Loved her family, brothers, sisters, children, grandchildren, as in turn loved as well, and was in turn loved as well. She loves flowers, both real and artificial, but sometimes money couldn't be found for even the cheapest flowers. As she aged, she could no longer climb stairs, so family birthdays were celebrated at restaurants. Everybody else had stairs in the house for the dining room? I'm confused. I haven't heard of too many upstairs dining rooms. How long battle of back pain and a hiatus hernia? Glenn has that. The louder was so large that several operations failed to correct it. Finally, she placed her on life support, but even with that, she was slipping away. As a family, we decided to remove life support and allowed her to die with dignity. She is not dead. I know that the title might be a little bit misleading, but people might be like, I don't need ideas for the weekend. I'll watch this. I guess my ideas are probably immature. I don't know. I mean, And if I meant to come across something, I meant to come across something. But yeah, and then there was email. Um, I think you had already been messages. I can't remember. Anyway, I was gonna say is whether you want to watch or, and I'm not gonna roll very long at all. That would be downstairs and play piano. I guess I could keep rolling then, but then um, nobody's there at the moment. The cell's actually been able to maintain the connection for 20 minutes, which is sometimes spotty with this thing. And I don't know if I can figure it out now that I'm already rolling, but I know that this device has an option to bring someone in on camera, and I'm curious to see if it would work. Because sometimes a past device, I think sometimes it did, and sometimes it was either glitchy or didn't. Messenger was showing a whole bunch of old ones on the computer, but um, and so basically, um, I know it's a smaller screen, but the only other option in this house, because of old devices, and that would be the laptop these days, because Chrome doesn't can't live stream. Um, I might have to enlarge them a little bit. I was thinking either a curtain, too nice to be a tablecloth, maybe a dress. I'd love to actually kind of course, do something with that second one. I mean, not that I have the skills to do so, but other than that, I'm not really sure. Chair covers? I don't know. I'm going to try something here. I don't know how to put a comment. All messages. I'm doing it. No. To